All right, so we did computer science and college research. My name is Kian Davudi.
Yeah, I'm Justin Jin.
All right. So we're going to be comparing colleges, and the first college we're going to be comparing is MIT, which stands for Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So the starting on the cost of MIT, the room and board, which basically just includes a lot of extras like the dorm, the food, the lounging area, is going to total to around 16,390 per year, which is a measure that was in from the 2019 to 2020 school year for MIT. The tuition, which is just like classes in general, for MIT is around $53,790. And in order to travel, so let's say you're in Arizona and you have family here, you might want to visit them every year. So you take a plane ticket or something like that. The cheapest way to be taking a plane ticket, so that would cost around $200 if you would want to take a round trip to Massachusetts or to Arizona and back to Massachusetts where you're at school. So, for in terms of scholarships, the average aid is around 50,000 or $49,775. And MIT is actually unlike a lot of schools, they don't grant scholarships based off of merit and educational and academic performance. They actually grant it based off financial situations. So, in terms of enrollment, MIT is one of the more prestigious colleges, seeing as it is an Ivy League and it has a big, uh, big background in engineering, so it's very hard to get in. So, it has a 7% acceptance rate, and the average GPA of a MIT student on a scale of 5 is a 4.17 GPA. The average ACT score for an MIT student is 34 to 36, and they do not take any advanced course credit from high school. So that includes IB, AP, or dual enrollment. They don't take any credit that you may have gained from those classes. So they also have a few essay questions, and these are for the 2021 to 2022 application school year, and it just lists a few of those, and you can take your own time to read those. So, in terms of campus, MIT actually has a really nice campus. It is smaller compared to other schools. It has just a 168-acre campus. But as I mentioned, it does have a very nice environment, and it's very modern, and it's in a rural area, so you're not really close to the city, so you can relax, and the environment is pretty serene, and it also has nice dorms. As you can see at the bottom right, that's the dorms building, and the bottom left shows one of the dorms inside, and you can like customize it however you want, so it's very you feel at home. So in terms of extracurriculars, there's more than 450 clubs at MIT. Some of them include Science Fiction Society, which is people who just like to talk about science fiction. Outing Club, which is people at MIT who like to explore the outdoors, look at nature. And Laboratory for Chocolate Science, which explores the sciences of various chocolates. Next is Stanford. Stanford's in California, and it's also a pretty prestigious school in regard to computer science. So the cost of Stanford is for a few costs. First off, the room and board, which regards dorms, lounging, food, all that, is $16,433 per year, based off of the 2019 to 2020 metric. The tuition for the school year was 53,529, and that's also for the 2019 to 2020 school year. It's there's around a $100 plane ticket costs on average across all airlines for someone living in Arizona to go to San Francisco round trip. So it's less than MIT because the distance is a lot less. It's a lot closer to home. So, in terms of scholarships, they actually they give a lot of money in terms of financial aid. On an average, they give around $54,880 in financial aid to a student, and like MIT, Stanford also gives financial aid on the basis of whether they financially need that in the financial situation they're in. So it doesn't award anything on merit or academic success. In terms of enrollment and admission, Stanford is actually more prestigious than MIT. It has a 4% acceptance rate, and its average GPA is around the GPA that a MIT student has. It's 4.18, so they're about the same GPA, but the acceptance rate is a lot lower. They have an average ACT score of 32 to 35, and they do accept advanced courses that you might have taken in high school, such as IB or AP or dual enrollment. But they do expect you to get a pretty high score on those exams. So, for example, in the AP exam, you need a 4 or 5, and in the IB exams at the end of the year, you need around a 5 or 6 to transfer that credit. Stanford also has a few application questions. So they don't have like a big essay question. They actually have you answer a few little short answer questions just to get a more well-rounded picture of the student. So in terms of campus, the campus is also really nice. It's a lot larger than most college campuses. It has a very warm environment, very green. They have a bunch of palm trees. It has a nice climate. It's very green, and their campus is 8,180 acres, which is significantly more than any other campus on this presentation. So they have a pretty big campus. It's basically its own city. In terms of extracurriculars, Stanford also has clubs for basically all walks of life. Any school that you're in Stanford, they have a club for it or an organization. And just some examples is business clubs, art club, basketball club, and then a lot more. And then here's a link if you want to view every single club or every single organization that's out there. You could just enter that link and you'll find a list to all those.
Okay, so the next one we have Princeton University. Should go next. All right. So the cost of Princeton University, tuition-wise, it will be around 50,000 and $52,800 per year, and also you also have to pay about a 1,050 addition for books and supplies. Room and board will be roughly 17,000 and 150 per year on campus. Scholarship wise, they offer financial aid up to $56,500, which does cover the entirety of tuition plus extra for room and boards. But it also depends on your financial situation. They would offer other forms of scholarship based on grades, but to receive a scholarship, the amount of 56,000, it still primarily depends on how much your family income makes. So enrollment admission. So Princeton, of course, is another very prestigious school. It has acceptance rates of 5.5%. The average GPA is 3.9 unweighted. The average ACT is around 32 to 35, so a pretty high bar. Average SAT, so 710 to 770 on the English portion and 730 to full on the math portion. So for AP and IB credits, Princeton will accept AP and IB credits. However, usually they will take a 5 on the AP exam, but very rarely do they take a 4. And for IB, it's the same way. Usually they'll take a 6, but very rarely it's a 5. So here's one of the essay questions, the supplemental essay questions the college provided. So it's more specific towards their own programs. So why are you interested in studying engineering at their place? Um, a lot of other schools also have this type of questions. So if you want to apply to this kind of colleges, you gotta have a good information knowledge. Good information base of what the college offers in terms of this program. So okay, the campus is very large, 600 acres. It's very beautiful. It's located in New Jersey, which is a pretty, um, should I say, mediocre in terms of climate. It has pretty nice dorms. All the buildings look pretty old fashioned because it's an old school. Yeah. So for extracurriculars, they have a lot of student-based clubs, but some more substantial ones include USG project boards, which is organized by the undergrad student government and it's based on programming. Uh, Office of Religious of Life, of course, it's religion. They have all sorts of religion clubs you can enter there. Lewis Center of the Arts. So it's basically an art studio where students can study and create all kinds of art. Sports club, just like every other college, they have a football team and other competitive sport team, but majority, yeah, the football team. Harvard. So next one is Harvard. Um, the tuition is still pretty high. It's 51,925 per year. Again, also around $1,000 for books and supplies. Room and board on campus will be $17,682. And scholarship wise, Harvard also Harvard also have a financial aid up to $55,750, which covers the entirety of tuition and other supplies. But this again will depend on your personal financial situation. So your household income must be below a certain range in order to receive this amount. So enrollment admission, Harvard, very prestigious, has a acceptance rate of 4.7% and the average GPA of 3.9 unweighted. Average ACT scores for applicants is usually around 33 to 35, and the average SAT score will be 720 to 780 on the English portion and 743 800 on the math portion. Non-AB or IB credits are accepted. Neither are due enrollment credits, so they would just simply not take any forms of high school credits. So you have to take all 4 years of courses in Harvard. So the essay question, Harvard requires very short but precise essay questions to elaborate on what you haven't elaborated on your resume. So they're looking to getting to know you or your accomplishments better based on your essay. So campus, Harvard also has a very old campus, so it's around 209 acres. It looks very prestigious. The whole school has a very classical building style. The dorms are pretty nice. You have a lot of room, and it's located in an urban environment. So, some extracurriculars the Harvard University offers are sports, including both varsity and club teams, orchestra, jazz, concert bands, art workshops. So basically, you can go in there and design or model buildings, artist structures, also for all kinds of things. They have a student newspaper program for journalists, and they also have a student government for people who are interested in involving more into college management Yeah, they also have a speech and debate team as a very heavy. Harvard is very heavy on law, so they do have a very good speech and debate team. So yeah.
All right, so next we have ASU. This is an in-state college, and it's pretty well known in Arizona. So I'm just gonna view that. So first off, the cost. The tuition of ASU is a lot lower compared to all these schools which we've just reviewed at just $11,338. The books are $1,171, and for room and board, it's $13,164 per year for the 2019 to 2020 school year. ASU actually has pretty good room and board, so that number may seem pretty high, but it actually may, some find it to be worth it. Scholarship for financial aid, they provide 18,511, and like other schools, it also depends on your financial situation, but ASU also takes into account some academic merit that you may have.
So the enrollment and admission of ASU is a lot more relaxed compared to the prestigious universities we have introduced. So the acceptance rate is very high. It has an acceptance rate of 84.8%. The average GPA is not that bad. It's 3.54. The average ACT scores for most applicants are 22 through 29. And the average SAT score is usually a 570 to a 670 on the English portion, and 560 to 590, 690 on the math portion. And ASU has a very good policy when it comes to AB and IB credits. They accept both, and they do not require you to have um, a score of 5. So they will consider lower scores. And dual enrollment is also considered. Campus. SU actually has a surprisingly good size campus. So just the Tempe campus is 632 acres. And the campus actually spreads out across the city. So they will have buildings research buildings over here and another research building over there on that block. So yeah, and it's in a urban environment because it's in the city.
So, in terms of ASU's extracurriculars, they have a lot of clubs. They have a very diverse student base, and it definitely reflects in their clubs. So, they have more than 1,000 community clubs and organizations. I've left a link below that bullet if you want to check out all the clubs and organizations that you can join at ASU. Uh, there's also a lot of so there's clubs and there's organizations, and they have slight differences, but there's a lot of both for each for everyone who for all walks of life basically. So you can go to both of those links if you want to see the clubs and organizations that are at ASU. In terms of computer science careers, you can actually do a lot with a computer science degree and make a good amount of money to live on. So, for example, a software developer works for various companies and basically is needed in almost every single company out there. Even in places where you wouldn't expect it, you can find jobs for computer science because it's basically everywhere. Every single company needs some kind of computer science infrastructure if they want to compete with others. So even like an agriculture company may need some system where they need to like count their stock for that year. They might need a computer scientist to set up a system to easily do that. That's just one example. Next job, we have computer scientists. This job works more on the theoretical side of thinking about how computers work. Uh, they don't get paid as much because maybe they're not quite in as much demand as software developer because a lot of companies are looking for people to make their applications. So it's still quite a bit, which with 80,000. So next up, IT consultants. They advise businesses on how to apply technology and how to implement different software infrastructures for each company, because each one may need like a customized application of computer science. They have around the same pay as a computer scientist with around 79,000. Cybersecurity consultant. deals with cybersecurity and just like securing an infrastructure, making sure hackers are not able to attack companies' databases and such, keep user data secure, which is very important today. So they are also in demand, like software developers who have a shortage of 1.4 million jobs, and their median pay is $87,000. So we just have a short video from Cambridge. So we're just going to watch that and get, yeah, just get some more insight.
Turn it up.
Go.
I've always enjoyed doing logic puzzles, small challenges, and also I wanted to learn everything I could about computers, which I think computer science involves too, but also I want to be in a really good time and environment, which Cambridge offers, and have all these little minds around computer science at Cambridge, which seemed just right. Of course, the structure so that you teach our students with theoretical background in Princeton computer science, but also with the hands-on experience of putting that theoretical knowledge into practice.
My favorite experience so far is group project in second year, in which I worked with a group to produce a piece of software for a company. I got to present the project to audience students and people from all companies, and it was very exciting.
The employability prospects for our graduates are really impressive. We're also a very entrepreneurial place, so lots of our graduates go on to found their own companies and startups.
One thing that we find out when we start studying computer science is that this is something that opens up so many different doors. We work in many different fields doing different things, but I want to do software, and maybe with that, there's some skills and skills start in the future and sort of problems.
By applying for a master's and then going on to do research either here at or in industrial research, I feel I really do science.
Fundamentally, computer science ends up being solving really hard problems in possibly well. So if there's one key thing that you can learn who can do computer science, it's been really good problem solving.
We are genuinely interested in people who are self-motivated and passionate about technology. If you're curious, then come to us and we will teach you the theoretical and practical ways of how you can build systems that are going to make our world a better place.
Alright, so that's the video. Hope it gave you a little more insight on what the computer science major is all about. And that's the end of our presentation.
Yep. All right. So thank you for coming.
Alright, yeah, thank you.